Okay, I think we're rolling, sir.
Okay. Sean Teare, T-E-A-R-E, Chief of the Harris County DA's Office, Vehicular Crimes Division. What we have out here is tonight, a little bit before 10 o'clock, we had a Chrysler sedan traveling westbound here on Tidwell, traveling at what appears to be a very high rate of speed. They lost control. We're still looking at and investigating as to why they lost control, but lost control, went into the median, the grassy median, and crashed into a tree. The front seat passenger was a young male, teenage to early 20s, and he was transported to the hospital and pronounced deceased there. The female driver, 15 years old, was also transported to the hospital with some fairly severe injuries. She is going to survive. She's being evaluated right now by HPD to determine whether or not intoxication played a role in this crash. This is still the very early stages of this, but we have some indications on the scene that potentially marijuana and some other intoxicants did play a role in this crash. And when you mix young children basically with intoxicating substances and cars, tragedies like this happen.
So she's too young to be driving, right?
Yeah, 15. There are some situations where a 15-year-old can drive. We honestly have yet to identify the deceased male, and we don't really know enough about the female to say whether or not she was legally driving. But 15 years old is typically too young to drive. But that's one of the many avenues that we're going to go from here forward and investigate whether or not she was legally driving, who this car belongs to. These are all things that, as HPD's here investigating this, we also have other officers at different locations running things down, seeing where this car came from, how a 15-year-old got possession of the car. A bunch of things have to come together before we make any decision on whether charges are appropriate and really just what happened here. We've got tomorrow, the Vehicular Crimes Division for the HPD is got to download this car. We have to determine exactly how fast the car was going, because even if intoxication didn't play a part, what we're seeing here leads us to believe that speed was a real factor here, meaning well over the speed limit on this road. So even if intoxication didn't play a part, charges could be forthcoming regarding the death.
Are there any witnesses?
We don't have any witnesses that I know of right now to the actual crash. Obviously, our first responders were here relatively quickly. They are witnesses to the aftermath. We've been in contact with Houston Fire Department, who was here very quickly, and our first on-scene officers, so they're going to help us piece it together as well. But as far as I know, we don't have any actual witnesses to the crash.
There's no evidence they were drag racing or anything with another vehicle?
Nothing that we have here. What it really appears to be is a young, inexperienced driver, intoxicated or not, traveling at a very high rate of speed, and now we have a dead young man.